Welcome to Charleston, South Carolina, a city where the past isn't just preserved. It's alive, woven into the very fabric of its cobblestone streets, historic mansions, and moss-draped oak trees. If cities could talk, Charleston would regale you with tales of revolutionaries plotting in secret, pirates stalking its shores, and society belles fanning themselves on grand verandas, all while sipping mint juleps. This is a place where every corner has a story, and every story has a twist. Whether you're here for the rich history, the jaw-dropping architecture, or just a taste of that famous Southern hospitality, Charleston delivers with charm by the bucketful. So, slip on your most comfortable shoes, grab a sweet tea, and let's wander through the streets of Charleston. First stop is St. Michael's Church, standing tall at the corner of Broad and Meeting Streets, like a sentinel of time. This grand old lady has been watching over Charleston since 1751, making her the city's oldest surviving church. George Washington himself sat in pew number 43 when he visited in 1791. No pressure if you're just here to admire the Tiffany-stained glass or the 18th century pipe organ. The church's white steeple is a familiar sight to Charlestonians, visible from many points in the city, and it survived everything from the Great Charleston earthquake to Hurricane Hugo. And if you listen closely, you might just hear the echoes of history carried by the sea breeze. With history still ringing in your ears, take a short stroll down Meeting Street, where your next stop, the Nathaniel Russell House, promises to be just as grand and a little more opulent. The Nathaniel Russell House is a showstopper of neoclassical architecture that's as grand as its former owner's bank account. Nathaniel Russell was a successful merchant who spared no expense in 1808 to build what is now considered one of the finest homes in America. As you step inside, you'll be greeted by the famous, free-flying staircase that spirals upwards without a single nail holding it together. A feat that defies both logic and gravity. The rooms are dripping with period details, from the ornate plasterwork to the priceless furnishings, offering a window into the life of Charleston's elite in the early 19th century. Don't miss the gardens, which are like a mini Eden in the middle of the city. You might even feel inspired to start planting azaleas and boxwoods when you get home. Feeling inspired by this slice of 19th century grandeur? Let's take that inspiration and head south on Meeting Street to get to the Battery and White Point Garden, where history is as thick as the sea air and just as refreshing. No trip to Charleston is complete without a visit to the Battery and White Point Garden. As you approach, you'll see the stunning row of antebellum mansions that line East Battery Street, each one with its own story to tell. This promenade was once a defensive seawall, guarding the city during the Civil War. Today, it's a peaceful place where locals and visitors alike come to enjoy the sea breeze and the panoramic views of Charleston Harbor. White Point Garden, at the southern tip, is a lush oasis with ancient live oaks draped in Spanish moss, cannons, and monuments that serve as reminders of Charleston's past. It's the perfect spot for a leisurely stroll, a quiet moment of reflection, or a picnic with a view. As you leave behind the serene beauty of the Battery, turn your steps toward a burst of color and charm. Rainbow Row is up next, and it's ready for its close-up. To get there, head east on Murray Boulevard, then go north on East Battery Street. As you walk along this road, check out the numerous historic houses that you'll see along the way. There's the Palmer Home, Robert W. Roper House, Julius Vizanska House, and of course, the Edmonston Alston House, a 19th century home and museum. Then continue heading north on East Bay Street. After half a mile of walking, you'll soon get to Rainbow Row, a candy-colored confection of historic homes on East Bay Street. These 13 pastel-painted beauties are some of the most photographed houses in Charleston, and for good reason. Originally built in the 18th century, they fell into disrepair after the Civil War but were restored in the 1930s by a group of visionaries who believed in the charm of old Charleston. Legend has it that the vibrant colors helped tipsy sailors find their way back home, though we suspect the colors might have had more to do with a certain 1930s trend than nautical navigation. Whatever the reason, Rainbow Row is now an iconic symbol of Charleston's enduring charm. Take your time to admire the architectural details, the wrought iron balconies, and the pretty gardens that peek out from behind iron gates. After soaking in the pastel perfection of Rainbow Row, continue north to a site that's a bit darker and full of tales from Charleston's more tumultuous past, the Old Exchange and Provost Dungeon. Completed in 1771, this grand building served as a custom house, post office, and public market. But its basement, the Provost Dungeon, is where the real intrigue lies. Here, beneath the stately facade, prisoners of war, pirates, and those accused of treason were held in dank, dark conditions. The dungeon is rumored to be haunted, perhaps by some of the less fortunate souls who spent their final days here. Above ground, the old exchange was the site of key events in the American Revolution, including the signing of the U.S. Constitution by South Carolina delegates. If these walls could talk, they'd tell tales of intrigue, betrayal, and patriotism that shaped the birth of a nation. You dove into the depths of history, but now it's time to confront a sobering chapter. Just a short walk away lies the old Slave Mart Museum, where the echoes of the past demand your attention. Located on Chalmers Street, this museum is housed in the last surviving building used as a slave auction gallery in South Carolina. The building dates back to 1859 and serves as a poignant reminder of the city's role in the transatlantic slave trade. Inside, the exhibits offer a deeply moving look at the lives of enslaved Africans who were brought to Charleston and sold here. You'll learn about the conditions they endured, their resilience, and the lasting impact of slavery on Charleston and the United States. It's a place for reflection, education, and understanding, a necessary stop to grasp the full scope of Charleston's history. After such a profound experience, it's time to end this tour on a lighter note. A short walk will bring you to the Charleston City Market, where the city's vibrant culture comes to life. To get there, head west on Chalmers Street, then turn north on Meeting Street. If you have time to spare, you might also want to check out other landmarks within this neighborhood like the French Huguenot Church and Washington Square. This walking tour concludes at Charleston City Market, the beating heart of the city's historic district. Established in the 1790s, the market has been a center of commerce and community for over 2 centuries. Stretching for 4 city blocks, the market is a lively and bustling place where you can find everything from sweetgrass baskets, a Charleston tradition, to local art, jewelry, and gourmet treats. The market is also home to several food vendors, so it's the perfect spot to grab a bite after your walking tour. Whether you're shopping for a unique souvenir or just soaking in the lively atmosphere, Charleston City Market is a fitting finale to our tour, encapsulating the vibrancy and culture of this timeless city. Which city do you want us to cover next? Comment your answers below. Let's keep this adventure rolling, stay curious, and keep exploring all places walkable. To watch more contents like this, click like, subscribe, and press that notification button. See you on our next virtual walking tour.